Hello everyone! Welcome back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're not moving on to the sequel just yet, because in between the release of Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2, they released little interludes. So we'll be checking that out in the special contents here. We have to be careful about where we're going, because there might be some spoilers in here. They are the ESCAPADES. These ones here are all in the in-between parts of Great Ace Attorney 1. So we'll be checking them out, seeing what happens in them. The first of 8 escapades, Ryunosuke finds 2 troublemaking witnesses from his earlier trial having a battle of words in the defendant's antechamber, leading to a real tongue lashing. This escapade includes spoilers for the first game's story. Do they all say that? Okay, yeah, they're all the first game's story. Good! See, we're safe. Let's do this. I don't even know how long this is going to be. The 22nd of November, 3:08 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 5. Just look at my priceless treasure now. Myself, I have scrubbed and scrubbed, but the repellent odor of meat will never be repelled from its resplendent surface again.
But you have it back in your possession, at least. You should be grateful, old man.
How dare you? I have to try and remember these voices. Excuse me, but I'd like to get at that Zabuton cushion there if I could.
Rest assured, you miserable military malefactor. This is not over. Incarceration awaits those who defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasures. Watch your tongue, old man. Mark my words, I won't.
Sorry, Sergeant, but can I just get at that Zabuton cushion there as well?
Oh. I won't go to jail, never. Imagine if I did. The very next day, my boy would starve without the chain of command in place to provide for him. Using the child to protect yourself, myself I call that absolute cowardice. Oh, really? And who just employed the old poor defensive senior citizen tactic, The only way to fight an enemy who's using underhanded tactics is with a tit-for-tat strategy.
A what for tat? Down for that. Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need to get at that Western-style cushion there on the sofa.
Enough of this insubordination. What do you want, man?
Oh, please, don't mind me.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is this the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before?
Wide-eyed, perhaps, but criminal, no.
What is this unhealthy fascination you exhibit with the seating arrangements of others, Why were you peering under the cushion of this upholstered seat?
Oh, well, the thing is... Any luck? Did you find it? Oh, who's this? Oh, never mind. No, sadly not. I don't think it's your Kazuma. You really are a liability, Ryunosuke.
Report! At once! Have you lost something, is that it?
Yes. We were just on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here when, I realized that my university pin badge was missing.
A university pin badge, you say?
Yes, from my collar here, you see.
Affirmative. Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times. A missing badge is unacceptable.
I thought if I looked around, it would probably turn up somewhere. Like the old tale of the Koban coin and the steak.
A parable of which I am acutely aware.
But I've exhausted my search now, really. The only logical conclusion is that someone must have stolen it.
Well, don't look at me! I don't just find any metal objects irresistible, you know. Imagine what would happen if little Trooper Ido here had swallowed something like that.
I'm afraid we'll have to give up, Ryunosuke. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to issue you with a new one. Is it the fact that it costs money and you don't want to pay for a new one? Because I get that, man. What's the matter? Don't tell me. Yes, oh, that's even worse, but even more real. I don't remember my student number. I don't believe it. I mean, the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it? Third, actually. If you didn't think you could remember it, you should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that until I was blue in the face the last time this happened. Uh, yes, I do seem to remember someone telling me something along those lines. This is too real. It was you, wasn't it? You can't even remember who told you that you needed to remember it? Well, the student numbers are 6 digits, Kazuma. Who could remember 6 whole digits? Yo, he just like me for real. Now try living in the current age, when student numbers are like 10 to 12, maybe 15 digits long. It's the worst. I mean, mind you, now we have cell phones where we can put that away, but they're like, no, don't put your information in your cell phone. Someone can steal. Who cares? I need it more than anything. UMA isn't exactly a long-established university, you know. All of our numbers are still rather low. Watch it be like 38. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits. Oh, no. Well, that might help, I suppose. That might help? Ryunosuke, it's only 3 digits you needed to remember. Just 3. Sorry, my brain is such a disappointment. Yes, well, anyway, young man, myself, I was greatly impressed with you in the courtroom today. Oh, you mean me? A lawyer already, before you've even graduated, and such a loyal friend to this... one... This one? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertain terms only last year. My Achilles heel was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here. Indeed, you looked at his foot? What? No, not the literal one. What? By me? This is the first I've heard about it. Yes, by Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You can't have forgotten, surely. It was last summer, at the speech contest. The speech contest? Oh, that. Contestants had to take to the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they chose. We were competing to give the most compelling and powerful speech. And yours was great and made a huge impression on the audience. Obviously, since I was a budding student of law, I was determined to win. And sure enough, one by one, my opposition fell when I reached the final at last. I came up against you. Well, yeah, so you did. Not being rude, but when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself, this cheeky, wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his depth. It's gonna be a pushover. That's your version of not being rude, is it? Well, I paid for my complacency, because it brought on that humiliating defeat.
Defeat? How were your ranks compromised?
My speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hand. They hung on my every word. And then, when I came to the very last line... Yes, what happened at the very last line? It was supposed to be a climactic end. Unfortunately, I completely fouled it up.
Never!
Oh wait, no, wrong one. Never?
You mean you stumbled on your words?
Spectacularly. Even now, I can't believe I ruined it.
Well, what on earth did you say, man?
Ryunosuke, you'd better say it. I still can't get my tongue around it. Oh, sure, of course. I can still recall it perfectly. What you said at the end of your speech, or rather, what you intended to say at the end of your speech, was this. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the fight for filial piety.
What went wrong?
What indeed? Myself, oh no. I'm still getting over a cold, and Nosa's voice in particular is killing me. 1 second. Just needed to make sure I got my drink of water. There's something about, like, that voice is so kind of easy and also fun to do, but it just I think this killed me the first time I was him, period. There's something about the vibration of doing the army man voice that just kills me, you know? Right indeed. Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of these paltry words. In that case, old man, I invite you to say it yourself.
Oh, very well then, I shall. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight in the fight for pile. It's impossible.
The arise, ladies and gentlemen part I delivered perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes. By the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium, a blabbering mess. And that's when the audience started to heckle you. Arise, arise, they were shouting.
Oh, hell on earth.
But then of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again? Let me see. So, my dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your mother and father with respect, or something like that. I mean, talk about stating the obvious. But the fact is, I lost to that speech.
Tongue-tied is the only way to describe it.
Well, it is quite tricky to say, I agree. That final fight for filial piety especially. And ever since that day, I've had this question whirling around in my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phrase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never have been called filial piety in the first place. Oh, wait. Did he say in the first pace? That's pretty good. At least you're going to Great Britain soon. It might not come up so much there. I mean, it'll be in English. That's a whole separate language with problems. Well, anyway, having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question. How is that you never trip up on your words? I inquired. Yeah, about that, buddy. And you just gave me a broad smile and said, speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of a hobby is that? Yo, same though. Me and Ryunosuke, we're two of a kind, right? I mean, I trip up on my words all the time. All the time. It's really bad, actually. You could do a whole compilation of me speaking horribly in my videos, and if you show that to me, I'd die. I die from embarrassment, and also, you know, why are you watching me? Anyways. Do you think you could take your hand off your sword? Besides, it's just a way to pass the time. After that, you started talking to me at 10 to the dozen, like you were possessed almost. Honestly, you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. You're right, I really can't.
Speaking fast is just the sort of hobby I'd expect a civilian like you to waste his time on.
Well, you have to practice, of course. But there are some simple things to start with. Like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword swipes silently sideways.
Oh yes, even a decrepit tongue and an ailing frame such as mine can find its way around that one.
I have no doubt. It's just a bit of fun, really. Can't imagine anyone would struggle to say it. Isn't that right, Kazuma? Swift samurai sword.
Ugh!
A blabbering mess by word 2.
It's not just a samurai. Every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. That's why I've been busy teaching Ido the finer parts of swordplay. None of this wordplay nonsense, Private.
Come to think of it, not long after that, we started to attend lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the Sukiyaki place on campus. Do you remember? Yes, your argument was full of jokes and puns and wordplay as usual. I remember it well. Oh, was it? In any case, I swore that I would never let myself forget the shock you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how seriously I took that oath, I decided to wear this, my red Hachimaki headband. Wait, that's the story of it? Wait, what? Really? Sorry, Kazuma. Yes? You've lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have to do with your oath? Because It'll always remind me of the smug look on your face as you uttered those tantalizing words. Wait, what words? You mean another tongue twister? I practiced and practiced until my tongue bled, but in the end I mastered it. Mastered what? Well, I think it's time you heard this, actually. Listen carefully now. Here goes. Red headband, lead headband, dead headband. There. Word perfect, see? None of these are hard. I'd actually been meaning to ask you about that. About the story behind your headband. I mean, well, now you know. So now I'll never forget the shock and humiliation of that day. That's why I wear this red headband every single day without fail. Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than the shock you've just given me now. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to have remembered it. Huh? It's just as famous as Swift Samurai Sword, so I can't believe you don't know it, really. It goes, red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Wait, what? Bed red pan... Seems I've knocked some wind out of that headband of yours. I bet you these are, like, much tougher Japanese sayings. And this is the best they could probably do to get it into English.
It's not too late, Private. I would start wearing a red bread pan on your head instead.
Your youthful vigor is manifest, young man. Your cheeks are glowing redder than your hachimaki. I'm not doing that. Why do so many words have to be so similar? So, looking forward to Great Britain, then? Where you'll have to deliver speeches in court in English? I suppose I can always shell seashells on the seashore. Okay, that was pretty good. That was enjoyable. Please don't bring Nosa back, please. He kills me. Literally, I can't speak his voice. These might be longer than I thought. We might only be able to do half in this video. We'll see. We'll see. In a first-class cabin. In the second escapade, it transpires that another crime was committed aboard the SS Buria. The stakes are high as hey, look at that! I'm getting it mixed up. As Sholmes and Stroganoff pursue the culprit. But there's more to the crime than meets the eye. Sure. I have no idea when this could happen. Because we met Sholmes after, you know, the death of Kazuma, right? It's almost 2 weeks now since we left Japan. Can't believe how quickly time has gone. Oh wait, are we playing as Kazuma? Oh, that might be interesting. So, our next port of call will be Shanghai. Oh, hello. Who's there? Who could it be at this hour? A detective. A detective? Who? A great detective. I don't get it. What's a great detective? If you'd just be so kind as to open the door. Oh, yes, sorry, of course. Click, clack. Here he comes. This makes more sense then. Is something wrong, detective? Are you investigating a case? Wherever a great detective goes, great cases occur. Indeed, I am the root of all evil. Sorry? Then I don't think I want you in my cabin. Under our very noses on this steamship, a terrible theft has just occurred. What? You noticed, I presume, the brief power failure a short while ago? Yes, the power couldn't have been out for more than 10 minutes, though. Indeed, I thought it was ample time for this wicked crime to be perpetrated. I see. Well, it's clearly a case that needs investigating. Precisely. The culprit ran away in this direction, down the first-class cabin passageway here. Really? The thief came this way? I'm quite sure of it. It may have escaped the attention of the dim-witted crew, but not of the great detective. Who? To that end, I would be obliged if you would allow me to investigate here in this cabin. Well, I'm curious. Is there some reason why it would inconvenience you to have your cabin searched? Inconvenience me? Well, I'd be lying if I said no. After all, there's a stowaway in that wardrobe right over there. It's just me in here, you see. No one else. So you might perhaps want to focus your attention on one of the other first-class cabins. As it happens, you are the only first-class passenger at present. Now the cabins are vacant. Oh! What's that noise? Did that rather tragic rumbling of the stomach arise from within you, my good fellow? Of course. As I said, I'm the only person in here. It's not that long until dinner time now, so, perhaps we could do this afterwards. I do apologize, sir, but it is of first importance that the investigation is not delayed. Hoo-ha! Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, where did he go? Uh-oh. How did he suddenly move all the way over there? Yes, without a doubt, if the culprit were to be hiding in this cabin, it would have to be inside this wardrobe. I shall need to examine this wardrobe thoroughly. I presume you have no objection. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to decline. Really, won't find any... Oh, no. Hachoo! Hachoo! It's me, Huridosuke! Did those two rather tragic sneezes arise from your good self? Of course they did. As I said, I'm the only person in here. You have a curious knack of talking while sneezing, then. And twice, no less. This is gonna be a tough one to argue. I was watching quite intently, sir, and I assure you I saw no signs of a sneeze. Couldn't Ryunosuke have held his nose? As I was saying, I shall need to examine this wardrobe. We've had it now, then. The game's up. Uh-oh. Click creak. Wait. He's just gonna see him and be like, that's not him. Nobody hiding in there, it seems. What? You seem surprised. No, not at all. Yes, I am. He was in there for sure. I shut the doors on him myself. More visitors. Who's this now? Is this my man?
Yeah, excusing me.
Oh, Seaman Stroganoff.
Sorry for disturbing, but crime has been committed on board ship.
Yes, I heard. A terrible theft, apparently.
How do you know this?
Well, the detective here just informed me, you see.
Detective?
Yes, I assume you must have asked him to investigate. Detective, could you... Wow, he's already gone. Where did he go?
I must ask you to cooperate with the investigation into this crime. Fully.
Oh, he's glaring at the wardrobe already. Are we just in the wrong room or something? Where is he? Well done. You found me. What are you doing hiding in my wardrobe? Hoo-ha! My good man, I was merely assessing the practicality of concealment in such a place. But I would say that at a push, a human could survive for up to 5 minutes in that cramped space. Ryunosuke's been in there for a fortnight. Is he not human?
Who are you?
Shh. This is the moment of truth. The great detective is about to unveil the sordid details of this wretched crime. You mean to say... Yes, there can be no doubt that the culprit of this terrible theft did indeed conceal himself within this wardrobe. What? But that's impossible. He couldn't have done. Because my best friend was in there the entire time. Or at least I thought he was.
How can you be sure of this?
Elementary, my dear fellow, the criminal left behind the most revealing evidence. The piss puddle That's right, at the bottom of there, there's not only just a puddle of piss, but it pools into a drawer. We have ourselves the legendary piss drawer. You might say that I am like the mother who has found it. How else could you explain these 3 bones?
Ugh!
What the? He's right. Look at those gnawed bones in there. And 3 of them.
Ugh! The criminal has escaped this time, but I will find him and crush him.
Could I ask you something, Detective? Well, yes, of course. I'm always delighted to answer an inquiring mind. In this terrible theft, what exactly was stolen? You see, it was my heart. Haha, what else? But some steaks on the rib bone. Bone on the meat? Meat bone on the? Bone on the meat, the rib bone? Did you say steaks on the rib bone?
For this evening's dinner, 3 rib steaks were stolen from ship's kitchen only a short time ago. There was malfunction with generator and ship was without lights for 10 minutes. Chef who saw criminal said that he ran away down first-class passageway. And now I am on his tail.
I'm afraid to say, my dear fellow, that your man is no longer in this cabin.
But how?
Through the cabin door, no less. Having devoured his haul in this wardrobe, the culprit discarded the bones and concealed himself behind the cabin door as you came in. Then, when attention was turned to the wardrobe, he seized his chance to escape through the open door.
What?
Make haste, my good man. After the culprit, hoo-ha, I shall follow presently. Something troubles you, sir?
I think maybe criminal is not running away at all.
What are you suggesting?
Now I know where the dog is buried. Mr. Asogi?
Me?
Da! When I think that you are culprit, everything is falling in places. The criminal that disappeared in first-class passageway, the bones in the wardrobe. All clues are pointing their fingers at you.
Don't be ridiculous, I would never. Huh. Yes, of course. I established at once that you couldn't be the perpetrator of this crime. You did?
Why? How are you so sure?
My dear fellow, there are but 2 things in this world on which one can rely with total certainty.
What 2 things?
The first is the word of a great detective, and the second is a tragic rumbling of an empty belly. Not again. When I first entered this cabin, there did arise from this gentleman a belly rumbling so odiously tragic that confirmed beyond all doubt. That man had not eaten a single rib steak in some time, let alone 3. Why do I have to suffer this humiliation when I've done nothing wrong?
Curses! I will catch this thief. He cannot have gone far.
Indeed, assuming you decided against a post-meal constitutional swim. Well, if you will excuse me now, my apologies for upsetting your evening. Detective, 1 moment, please. Yes, that was a most remarkable deduction. Perhaps you'd be kind enough to tell me your name? Huh, you quite slipped my mind. You've been talking with the one and only Herlock Sholmes. I see. Well, I'm Cosmo Asogi. I'm a student on my way to Great Britain. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Asogi. Oh, and before I forget... Yes? I feel I should warn you. Live cargo is strictly forbidden on this vessel. So you do well to conceal the stowaway currently lying low under your bed as carefully as possible. Oh, under the bed? I bid you farewell, then, Mr. Asogi. Interesting. He's uncovered her secret. I suppose I should have expected nothing less. Well, of a great detective. Now then, when did you move in under the bed? I thought we'd had it when he opened the wardrobe door. Well, it was thanks to that split-second chance you engineered. That I what? You distracted him for a moment, remember? When you suggested that he investigated the other cabins instead. Oh, yes. He turned to look towards the corridor, didn't he? Well, I couldn't see what he was doing, of course. But I thought to myself, it's now or never, and the next thing I knew, I was under the bed. You really know how to give me a scare, don't you? Anyway, what's all this about the rib steaks, eh? Sorry about that. I've just been so hungry. Ever since we left Japan, stuck in that tiny wardrobe. Well, you should know, you've been splitting all your meals with me. You must be starving too, surely? Yeah, bro is, right on cue. And there was that power cut before, wasn't there? For about 10 minutes. So it was then. I caught a whiff of the most delicious smell. And I thought to myself, it's now or never. Next thing I knew, I had the steak in my hands. This man just can't help getting himself into trouble. Well, alright, you were hungry, but 3 steaks? Thanks to you, 3 crewmen are gonna go without tonight, I imagine. No, it was just the one. What? I only took 1 rib steak from the kitchen, that's all. But I don't understand. Hey, I'm not that selfish. If I'd stolen 3 steaks, I'd at least have tossed 1 your way. I'm not your pet dog. Well, in that case, who stole the other 2? Wait, do you think... Could there be a ghost on board? A meat-loving ghost? There could only have been a single bone in the wardrobe when Ryunosuke moved to hide under the bed. Which means that the other 2 bones can only have been put there by one very flesh and blood person. Shomes! Yo, that angle is kind of sick. What's so funny? We're on a haunted ghost ship. A great detective, or a great mischief maker. Either way, I think I'd like to spend a little more time getting to know that man. Uh-oh! Too bad! The great Hairlock Shomes. Thank you for the thumbnail. Thank you. Wonderful. These are silly, and silly is fun, and silly is good. These are like the perfect length too. Like I could imagine just logging into your 3DS and being like, what's the new case? You know, it's another month, right? So now we're at the British Supreme Court. It takes place as Ryunosuke and Susato visit Lord Strongheart to report on the outcome of Mr. Natsume's trial. Oh wow, we're jumping ahead kind of. They find a flustered Inspector Gregson attempting to solve a very taxing problem before his time runs out. Alright. I'm assuming the first couple are going to be all before the game, and then the last couple will be after. 26th of February, 9:17 a.m. British Supreme Court Lord Chief Justice's office. Here we are again. Every time we visit here, the atmosphere in this place seems to get more and more overbearing. Just think, we could be at home with Mr. Shomes and Iris having a nice, cozy breakfast. But we have a duty to report the outcome of the case, especially since we're guests here in Britain. So I'm afraid this visit couldn't have been avoided. I suppose not, but is there even anyone here? You could hear a pin drop in this place. It's too solemn for its own good. It is very quiet, isn't it? The only sound is the ticking of the great clock as it keeps perfect time. Wait. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. What's that noise? Is it a mouse? What was that, I wonder? The usual comforting sound of the clock seems to have been joined by a less comforting shuffling sound today. Sounds like a horse. You're right, something's disturbing the rhythmical ticking. Sounds like a rather unfit middle-aged man running from pillar to post. Clumsily. Who are you calling unfit? Oh, Inspector Gregson, what are you doing here? What am I... Why isn't it flaming obvious? 58 seconds remaining, Inspector. We'll have to talk later, sunshine. Good morning, Lord Strongheart. Wow, he's really looking fiercely at his pocket watch today. And good morning to you. Business so early in the day. Oh, yes, well, I mean, it's about the other day, We are to deliver our report, Lord Strongheart, as our dealings with Mr. Natsume are now over. Yes, the little Japanese man. I've already cast my eyes over Van Zeek's report. Boy, he sure do be moving. I must say, the outcome surprised me. I thank you for a job well done. You are too kind, my lord. It's not here. It's not there. It's not over there either. I hope you don't mind me asking, but what exactly is the inspector doing? He's been herring around between the bookshelves, looking beside himself with worry. He's looking for a particular work, The Lion's Pride. Now, there's an all-too-familiar title. I'd heard it was a popular tale, so obtained a copy from the rental library. However, it wasn't able to maintain my interest, so I soon cast it aside. I happened to notice a vacant spot on one of my shelves at the time, so I duly stowed the book there. Unfortunately, I no longer remember where that was. Nope, not here. Not there. Not here either. Come on, where are you lions hiding? The book is due back today, so I've asked Gregson to locate it for me with his investigative powers. Inside 5 minutes. I must say, I've never seen anyone working so hard to find something. He's like a man possessed. Yes. That's because his month's salary is staked upon the outcome. At whose instigation? Oh, let me guess, this stony-faced lord. And the 5-minute time limit? What's the significance of that? There is none. Just my vulgar, mischievous spirit showing itself, I'm afraid. Oh my god, buddy! Oh, by your own admission. Ah! I can't. My feet are killing me. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, Inspector. Which means that next month you will work unpaid and have no days off. No days off. That's just mean. What are we, like, what? There really are just so many books here. It's overwhelming. For some, perhaps, I've purchased every book, new or old, on the subject of law from all over the globe. Wouldn't have believed it a few short decades ago. A place like this couldn't have existed. What do you mean, Inspector? When I was a lad, no one ever dreamed of buying books. Oh, I see. Western books are such luxury items, I suppose, with their leather covers and fancy bindings. No, that's not it. Oh. There was a tax on paper, see? On paper? Yeah. I mean, it was abolished about 30 years back now, but it used to be the case. There was a tax levied on any kind of paper, so obviously that meant most folk couldn't afford to buy any books at all. Oh, so is that why places like the rental library you mentioned before came into existence, Lord Strongheart? Indeed. Vestiges of the paper tax system, you could say. The general public consider books as items for hire. London is home to a vast lending library of some 3.5 million books. You couldn't hope to read all of that even if you were reincarnated 10,000 times over. Even I would choose to rent a book rather than purchase it, if I knew I would read it infrequently. The subject of tax has actually surprised us already in the last few days. It came up in Mr. Natsume's trial. Seems the window in his room was filled in due to some kind of window tax. That would be true. Fortunately, the window tax has been abolished here some 40 years ago. Sadly, in the East End in particular, many windowless houses remain. Britain's always had a bit of a thing for tax and stuff. Whatever they can tax, they tax. Sugar, salt, tea, coffee, you name it. Candles, beards, television. Wait, sorry, what was that last one? Oh yeah, wait, what? Did you say beards? Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Yep, the beard tax. Never heard of it? Never! Why should people have to pay money just because they let their facial hair grow? Well, you may well ask. I suppose because it makes them look self-important. The Naruhodos have a strict family policy of no facial hair, I think. Well, let's just say that one Naruhodo later on kind of lets it grow in just a bit, gets a bit scruffy, you know what I'm saying? Okay. London beard tax. I'm Googling this. Is this real? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's super real. The beard tax is a governmental policy that requires men to pay for the privilege of wearing a beard. Oh, there's more in the world. There was one in Russia. In 1698, Tsar Peter I of Russia instituted a beard tax as part of an effort to bring Russia in line with Western European models. Oh, I see. England. A persistent legend claims that King Henry VIII of England, who wore a beard himself, introduced a tax on beards that his eventual successor, Elizabeth I, tried unsuccessfully to increase the tax. Contemporary documentation of the Tudor beard tax, however, is lacking, and the National Archives have no record of such a tax being instituted. Okay. Apparently there wasn't one. In France, the bearded Francis I of France, oh my god, Francis of France, received approval from the Pope in the early 1500s to levy a tax on priests' beards in order to fund his wars with the Holy Roman Empire. Shut up. Yemen has a beard tax in 1936. Okay. Well, what the frick? What? That's so wild. I love learning stuff from games. It's one of my favorite things. You can relax. The beard tax was confined to the annals of history long ago. Even so, it's clearly something the British really love. Paying taxes, I mean. Paying them? You got that back to front, sunshine. But you can't deny you've had a lot of funny taxes over the years. You never find anything like that in Japan. Would you, Miss Sasato? In actual fact, I'm afraid to say that you would, Miss Naruhodo. What? No, you don't mean... Surely there's never been a window tax in Japan. No, but there have been similarly obscure taxes. For example, in the Edo period, there was a frontage tax. What was that? It was a tax not on windows, but on the entrance to properties. The larger a property's entrance was, the greater the tax that was levied on it. Even today, some mansions survive with extremely narrow entrances to that old form of taxation. I had no idea. So the Japanese are as twisted as us Brits. But we never had a beer tax? I mean, that's really going a step too far. Well, no, that's true. I'm not aware of any taxes for beards, at least. What do you mean, at least? Well, rather than tax them, the shogunate did once prohibit them outright. The ruling class prohibited beards? It was called the Great Beard Prohibition. It was an Edo period edict. But why did the powers that be want to ban beards? Because it makes people look self-important? Just an idea. It would seem that rulers in the East and West have had very similar ideas over the years. There have been other unusual taxes in our history, even in our current Meiji period. There have? For example, though it was before either of us were born, there was a rabbit tax. there was a tax on those adorable fluffy creatures, like the ones who make mochi sweets on the moon? A nice little cultural reference. Yes, and it was an extremely large tax too. The government demanded extraordinary sums of money. This just gets stranger and stranger. What was the reason for that bizarre tax then? Well, after Japan opened its doors to the world, there was an unprecedented rabbit boom in the Meiji capital. Oh no, they brought him in and they, well, did the thing that rabbits do best. A boom? Yes. Keeping rabbits became hugely popular and new species were traded at exorbitant prices. People were even swindled out of all their money for exotically colored rabbits. Like colored chicks, I suppose. Oh, I know about that. Colored chicks it's such a kind of a horrible thing, where people would take chicks and paint, like literally paint them, and then sell them at like fairs and stuff. Be like, buy yourself a colored chick, and then they'd grow up and be just ugly, like miscolored chickens because like the paint would like partly come off and they'd look awful, right? And that was the inspiration of Blaziken in Pokemon, because they originally made Blaziken be like, oh, it's this cute chick that turns into this just like, it was supposed to be an ugly bird. Little did they know Blaziken's freaking awesome. Hard to imagine, though. Rabbits are so timid and quiet. I wouldn't have thought one could bankrupt you. So in response to this worrying social vogue, the government imposed a rabbit tax. I suppose they couldn't just ignore the problem. And it worked because the rabbit boom came to an abrupt end. 6 years later, the tax was abolished. Well, I hate to say it about my own country, but Japan is strange. But there's more. After the rabbit tax was abolished, then, of course, society reacted by launching straight into a second rabbit boom. Oh dear. The government didn't think that one through, did they? Your ideas about the world are very much altered by the position you hold in society. If you are responsible for the running of the country, you will feel the need to raise revenue keenly. Without a stable taxation system, the whole country would go down the drain. Well, yes, I suppose so, but some of these taxes... That's precisely why ministers of state use their wiles to invent new and novel ways of taxing the public. Novel ways? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, if you were one of my country's statesmen... Me? A British statesman? Yes. What novel tax would you impose? Pray give us something truly original. Inside 5 seconds. What? Oh, penis tax. The bigger, the size, the more money. Ah! Think of something everyone uses, Mr. Naruhodo, and really squeeze every penny out of the population. That's quite the intense stare. I'm very glad Sasato-san isn't in charge. Your time is up. So, what's your answer? Well... the... air... maybe? Yes. How about air? An air tax, you say? Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. A truly novel and fiendish idea. Well, everyone has to breathe, so while the population is inhaling air, my government is inhaling money. Blimey. You're a tyrant at heart, eh? A somewhat radical solution to a country's revenue problems, but sadly, not an original one. No! You mean to say... Surely not. You mean a tax on air has been imposed in the past? It was last century. The finance minister of our neighbor, France, proposed it. What? If I ever go visit, I'm holding my breath. Unsurprisingly, it was strongly opposed by the public and soon scrapped. The minister didn't last long either. Okay. France? Air tax. Please tell me about this. Please. This sounds so silly. French civil... Oh, wait. No. No, it's only giving me... It's only giving me flight stuff. No, it's ungoogleable. France tax on breathing air, maybe? The breathing tax, and that's air travel taxes there. But no, it's all about taxes. What? Like, it's all about, I mean, like flying in a plane. I don't think this is it. Maybe? Unless they're talking about, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to see. Oh dear. Although clearly that would have been an untenable situation. Public at large are a force to be reckoned with. Don't I know it? How about you, Inspector? What new tax would you impose? Well, let me see. My first thought is a tax on objections. Sorry? Been hearing far too many of them recently in court. It's a particular lawyer I have in mind as it happens. I think an objection tax would be very handy. Well, good to see you don't allow your personal views to influence your work in the public office. I reckon 5 pence for every objection raised would be about right. A most amusing proposal, Gregson. A most unamusing proposal, my lord. This is so silly. This was my favorite one so far. We're not even done yet. Oh my god, are you serious? Well, yeah, we're only going to do half of them for now, okay. Well then, I think it's your turn now. Sorry, my turn for what? Why, what else? To locate my missing copy of the Lion's Pride. Oh! It's on one of the shelves in this room. Of that I am certain. Now, I shall give you 10 minutes. If he's like, oh, I was gonna say, you'll go back to Japan. Oh, well, here we go. It's yeah, our payment. And let's stake your student's stipend on it, Fail to find the book and you forfeit next month's payment. Objection! Your time starts now. Oh, and one more thing. I believe you just said the word objection. Kindly leave your 5 pence over there before you begin combing the shelves. This tax is gonna be the death of me. And then they find it, and it's all good, and they realize everything's fine, and Gregson gets his money back. Right? Right? Please. All right, we'll do the last one here for today. In Sholmes's suite, right? Because if these were like 2 hours long, really. They're quite long. The fourth escapade unfolds one morning on Baker Street when Iris has prepared breakfast as usual, but Ryunosuke wakes up to find an envelope under his door containing a death threat. Who on earth could put it there, and why? Find out next time on The Great Ace Attorney. Well, I can't believe this is happening to me. I love next time on sort of things. 9th of March, 8:23 a.m., Sholmes's suite. Oh, the frame rate in here is kind of stinky still. Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, morning, Susie. I'll get breakfast on the table for us all. Mr. Sholmes, morning. Come now, why the long face? Oh, I'm sorry. The thing is, I just had a rather strange envelope posted under my door this morning. With some rather strange things inside. What strange things? Oh, what was it, Runo? Do I catch the scent of mystery in the air? Nothing so exciting, I'm afraid, Iris. It was just 5 orange pips. Can't imagine what it could possibly... What? Orange pips, Mr. Naruhodo, and 5 of them? What's the matter with you? It's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? An overreaction? Mr. Naruhodo, you don't understand. It's a warning. A notice of imminent danger to your life. What? To my life? What's the meaning of all this, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, why do you make such an enquiry of me? Because the name of the sender was written on the envelope, and it was yours. Oh. Well, you're right, Runo. It says sent by Sholmes, envoy of hell. So my little ploy has been exposed. Well, so be it. Cast your mind back, if you will, Miss Naruhodo, to the time of our dining last night. Okay, yes. Mrs. Sato cooked Japanese food for us. Indeed. In particular, you may recall the final norimaki sushi roll that I was about to savor. That is, before you swooped in with your clacking chopsticks and filched it from under my nose. Oh! I assumed because you left it, you didn't want it. I left it, my dear fellow, because I planned to enjoy it as my very last mouthful. Surely you must have noted my intent by the subtle dilation of my right pupil. Perhaps a clearer sign would be helpful next time, just an idea. In summary, the post you received early is a notice of impending revenge. You should be quaking in your boots. Really? Someone strayed out into the garden and planted them. I'm hopeful we might grow some exotic fruit. There's no point sending a notice of impending revenge if the person you sent it to doesn't know what it is. Well, I knew, of course, because I've read this book, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And on sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews. Oh yes, of course, it's finally been published, hasn't it? Here it's selling very well. It is. 12 short stories in one volume. I've earned a lifetime spending money already. And it has further bolstered my name. In fact, only the other day, a Bohemian king sought to engage my services. Really? That's extraordinary. Of course, the gentleman persisted with some pretense of being a fishmonger for the duration. But only a fool would presume to be able to deceive my eyes with such a charade. So, how did you know he was a king then? Why, there's no mystery, my dear fellow. A distinct smell of fish coming by the man's lonely apparel. And though he tried to hide it, the left side of his mustache quivered in quite manifest manner. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, that's simply brilliant! Having neatly resolved the case for the man, I was sent a quantity of fresh cod as a mark of his appreciation. I think perhaps you shouldn't discount the possibility he actually was a fishmonger. Is that? Can anyone else smell burning? Oh, yes, you're right. And look, smoke! I think maybe... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Really, a fire! We must all leave at once. Everyone out of the building. No, wait, I have to go back to my room first. Are you deranged? If you're not asphyxiated by the smoke, the flames will burn you to death. But my Daruma doll, I can't let my Daruma burn. It means too much. Drat. Sorry, but I'm gonna make my dash for it upstairs. Oh, Runo, you're so funny. This is no time for jokes, Iris. Go, quickly get out of here. But there is no fire. Is there, Hurley? Huh? Oh, what a delight to see that ploy enacted in the flesh. I wouldn't have dared to dream I should be so lucky. Miss Sasato. Indeed it was a ploy. A devilment engineered by my puckish spirit. Oh, a trick? But why? It is a simple experiment of the mind, Mr. Naruhodo. When his life is threatened, a fellow is compelled to instinctively protect that property to which he attaches matching importance. And after your own life, Runo, the most important thing seems to be your Daruma doll. Let's not dwell on that, shall we, Iris? So, you knew all along, Mrs. Sato, that it was a trick? Yes, of course. The very ploy is described in this book, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. On sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews. Not again! I've used that device quite satisfactorily in the past to solve a case. Oh yes, it was a great success, wasn't it? But then it became something of a habit, didn't it? You started yelling fire at every crime scene, and then at every airport. That's a bad one, don't do that. In the end, people started paying no attention to you at all. Yes, that's true. There was a time when I was known as the Sholmes who cried wolf. I think there's a lesson to be learned in there somewhere. But sadly, my little ploy failed to yield results this time. Iris was utterly unmoved. What do you mean? Well, I was anticipating that Iris would immediately expose her secret hiding place. Location of the nest egg she must have cached somewhere in this room. Nest egg? You think Iris has some secret savings? Why, naturally. The book is selling like hotcakes after all. It's a simple deduction to conclude that the profits must be concealed here within these walls. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you in need of money? I bet I know what it is. It's that new microscope that's gone on sale, isn't it, Hurley? What else? I have such a strong desire to own one, yet my purse is 1 pound too light. And as no offer of a loan has been forthcoming, I've been forced to resort to an alternative stratagem. Sorry, Hurley, but I'm not falling for that. Not coming from the Sholmes who cried wolf.
Ugh, how vexing.
You really shouldn't be trying to steal a 10-year-old's savings, bro. My book is full of little tricks like that, you see. The armory of the great detective. Except that in this case, both the orange pips and the fake fire fell a little flat, didn't they? Oh, I have plenty more tricks up my sleeve. Take, for example, the case of the Boscombe Valley Mystery. I'm already filled with dread just from the title. It is a tale of extraordinary skill on the part of the great detective, the skill of tracking. Tracking? When I arrived at the scene of the crime in the eponymous valley, there were footprints everywhere. But my eye was immediately drawn to one set in particular. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, your detective instincts are truly remarkable. As you know, my dear madam, no detail, no matter how small, escapes the scrutiny of these eyes. So I tracked my quarry, following the trail of his footprints all the way to the man's place of residence. It led you directly to the culprit's house? What a triumph! You misunderstand. It led me directly to my own house, my dear fellow. Huh? For the footprints were, in the final analysis, those made by my own shoes. Hurley had left here for Boscombe Valley as soon as he received a telegram about the case, you see. And then he followed his own trail straight back here to Baker Street. Huh. Now, Iris, please, you make it sound almost humdrum, but I assure you, it is no easy feat. Tracking of this nature is a skill possessed only by the great Herlock Sholmes. You're right, it really is extraordinary. Quite so. Extraordinary is the word, and let it be the last on the subject. Anyway, needless to say, I subsequently went on to solve the case with various other deductions. Yes, it's the various other deductions that I'm interested in. Well, you shall have to read the book then. I'm sure Iris has penned it with her usual flourish. Oh, absolutely. I put on an ingenious spin on the great detective's exploits. Must have been very ingenious to make this man sound even remotely credible as a detective. Wait, is that... Does it smell like something's burning again? We've had enough devilment for one day, Mr. Sholmes, but put your puckish spirit to bed. I assure you, this has nothing to do with me or my spirit. What? Oh no, the smoke is getting thicker. Wait, you mean it's not a trick this time? There really is a... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Mr. Sato, where are you going? Stand aside, Miss Naruhodo. I will punch the fire. Watch this. I'm going to go hoo-ha. There's the fire. Easy, Mr. Sholmes. What are you... Mr. Sholmes, why didn't you just check that bust of Napoleon on the floor? Oh, look at that. In amongst all the broken porcelain. Coins. Sovereigns, in fact. Worth a whole pound each. Come, everyone. We must leave at once. Evacuate the building. You fell for it, Hurley. Hook, line, and sinker. Wait, you mean Iris? I certainly wouldn't have guessed that's where you'd hit it. Do you mean to say that this smoke was... My own puckish spirit needs to come out and play sometimes too, you know. What? Of course! I know what it is, Iris! It's that indoor herb garden set that went on sale last week, isn't it? That's what you're after. I want one so desperately, but I'm 4 pounds short. Even though you told me you didn't have any money to spare before. I knew you had a secret nest egg somewhere in this room. Ugh! You've outwitted me again, you 10-year-old child! You really shouldn't let yourself be outwitted by a 10-year-old child, you know. I like how it made the joke that I made. So, Thank you for the loan, Hurley. Oh, but wait. What's the matter? Where's Susie? She's disappeared. Did she run up to get the Daruma doll? Oh, yes, that's right. She ran off to upstairs before, didn't she? Oh, what are you all still doing here? We have to evacuate. It won't be long before the fire is... Oh. Sorry, Susie. Children will get up to mischief once in a while, you know, but it's all perfectly harmless. Harmless, maybe, but oh so devious. For an herb set? What do you even need an herb set for? Just plant herbs. Like, a microscope makes sense, but... Oh, well, at least nobody was hurt. Apart from Napoleon and my secret hoard. Now tell us, Mrs. Sada, what is it that you went so fleet-footed to fetch? Sorry? Oh, no, nothing. This is just... No, this is nothing. Susie, that's... Oh, never mind. Never mind, okay. Thought she'd get the Daruma doll for us, but nope. That's your notebook detailing all of Runo's trials, isn't it? It's bulging at the seams. A testament to the various people you've helped over the past months. Miss Sasato, Well, I am your judicial assistant after all. I would do anything to ensure the safety of these records. Even risk my life if necessary. I mean, it's very important to me. It's like a diary of everything we've achieved together. Aww, I'm getting all teary-eyed now. Yes, in stark contrast to a certain someone who would have fetched his Daruma doll, I must say. Ugh. But it's symbolic. You do the iron when you're a lawyer. It's a big deal to me. Well, that was fun. That was fun, and we have another set of them next time. Yeah, it's gonna take 2 episodes. I thought it'd be one and done. But, I mean, I'll also probably put in the thumbnail 1 and 2, right? So we will do that next time, guys. Thank you all for watching, and we'll continue with at Naruhodo's legal consultancy next time. So we'll see you then for that. Ciao.